Welcome to another exciting episode of 4 Wolves Takes. We're your boy, Artist Woods, also known as AJ2K. We'll bring you 4 fresh Minnesota Timberwolves takes. Now, last time I was before you all, last time you all tuned in to 4 Wolves Takes, I put the take out there, the prediction out there, that the Wolves will win their next 3 home games. And right now it looks good. Right now it looks like that prediction, that take will be on the money. They're at 2-0 right now, getting ready to play the Pistons at Target Center. And listen, I don't want to overlook the Pistons, but I'm going to make the assumption that the Wolves are going to get it done tonight and make it 3-0 and make that take look good. And so I don't want to make this episode, even though this is coming out probably right before that game, I don't want to make this episode a Timberwolves Pistons preview. I just don't feel the need to do that. That's not what I want to do. I want to talk playoffs, right? So my first 2 takes of the day have everything to do with a potential first-round matchup for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Which matchup is favorable? Which matchup is, well, first off, they're all favorable. I believe they're all favorable. But which matchup is favorable? Which matchup is the easiest or the best or the ideal? Let's just say that. The ideal matchup for the first round? Which matchup would be a little tougher? Still a Minnesota Timberwolves W in my book, but will be a little tougher. And my last take of the day is a fun one. I wanted to have some fun. I told y'all, if y'all been paying attention, I'm not the type to give you hot takes. I'm just not in the hot take culture. That's not what I'm here to do. But this one a little spicy. I ain't gonna lie. This one is a little, you might need a little milk. You might need a little milk for that last take. So y'all make sure y'all tune in and y'all stay tuned for the last take, of course. But without further ado, let's get to the first take of the day, right? We are talking about the potential of a matchup in the first round with the Golden State Warriors. With the Golden State Warriors, I believe the Warriors are an ideal first-round matchup. This is just me talking. Ant said what he said earlier before the season started. I'll get to that in a hot second too. But this is just me talking. If you ask me, artist, AJ, whichever one y'all want to call me, I don't really care. Between the Mavs, the Kings, the Suns, the Lakers, or the Warriors, which team would you want the Wolves to play? I'd say the Warriors in a heartbeat. I would say the Warriors in a heartbeat. One, I think they have a mental edge right now over the Warriors. They beat them all 3 times they've seen them this season, right? So that's there. They have the confidence that they can beat that team. And that's a lot to say because even though the Warriors are not the Warriors of old, they are still a team that is well respected in the league. Still a team with a ton of experience, championship players, a championship head coach that knows how to win playoff series. They know how to win playoff games. They know how to win championships. So it's a lot. It says a lot for the Timberwolves to have that confidence that says we can beat them. And I believe the Timberwolves have that. Before the season started, Anthony Edwards literally said, if there's any team I want to play in the playoffs, it's them Warriors. Why? Because Draymond Green, he just talks. He just be talking. I want to be the player to shut all that up. That's what I want to be, the player to shut it all down. Now, he didn't say that verbatim, or the team to shut it all down. He didn't say that verbatim. This is just me paraphrasing. But it's what he said. That's who I personally want to play. I look forward to that matchup, right? So it just shows that confidence that we can go in there and we can beat the Warriors. We believe we could beat them and really put it into, everything dynasty related when it comes to the Warriors. Obviously, they're not still in that time frame, but we want to put a stamp on that. The Timberwolves officially ended that. It's time to rebuild and move on, right? From an X's and O's standpoint, I like the matchup because of what I've been saying for the longest. The size advantage is huge. It's a great advantage that the Wolves have. We just saw in the matchup just recently where they played the Warriors, where they needed 2 defenders, 2, to take Rudy Gobert on pick and roll threats to the basket. When he's rolling to the basket off the screen, they need 2 defenders to deal with Rudy Gobert. And what does that do? That opens up the floor for everyone else. So guys like Nah are getting open looks. Guys like Kyle Anderson are getting open. Guys like, Jaden McDaniels, open looks. Even Anthony Edwards, if he's not the one setting the screen, open looks. Naz Reid, open looks, right? So it just opens the floor for everybody, literally. We all know Anthony Edwards is the best offensive player on the Minnesota Timberwolves. But against the Warriors, the offense can literally run through Rudy Gobert. And he can help set up everything. Because if you don't double team Rudy Gobert on the road to the basket, that's an easy bucket. They have nobody to defend it. Because they like to run with these small ball lineups, I'm sure Steve Kerr will make some type of adjustments if you match up with him in the playoffs. But there's not much you can do because your best lineups are small ball lineups. So really you're hoping that the Wolves just have an off day. They somehow can't get to rebounds. They somehow just miss shots and they can get out in transition and hit 3-point shots. That is what they're hoping. They've lost all 3 times they played the Wolves, so it hasn't worked out so far. It has not worked out so far. Also, you can't stop Steph Curry. Let's just be clear. Let's be honest. You cannot stop Steph Curry. He's the greatest shooter we've ever seen. He's one of the greatest point guards we've ever seen. He might go down as a top 10 player of all time. He just might. He just might, if he isn't already, right? That's just Steph Curry. He does it all on the basketball floor, and especially off ball, he is a problem. A problem. But you have bodies to throw at him. You have Anthony Edwards. You have Jaden McDaniels. You have You have multiple bodies you could throw at Steph Curry to make things tough. I mean, Steph is probably going to get his, but it will be a challenge. And that is all you could do with a great player. Just make it tough. You playing guys like LeBron, Jokic, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Steph Curry, whoever SGA, whoever you want to name, Anthony Edwards. All you can do is make it tough, right? And the Wolves have the guys that'll make it tough on Steph Curry. So those are reasons why I really like the matchup. It's the size advantage, right? It is the advantage that you have with multiple bodies to throw at Steph Curry and the mental advantage that you have over a team you've already beat 3 times. You beat them 3 times already this season. So you are excited to play that basketball team. And the Warriors are honestly still looking for answers on how we could beat the Timberwolves. That is a team I'd want to see in the first round. You guys are still trying to figure it out, and we pretty much already got the keys. We know how we could beat y'all. We just got to do it 4 times. I think this is the time to get the Warriors. You'll have home court advantage. I think they'd be able to knock out the Warriors in the first round of the NBA playoffs if they were to see the Warriors in the playoffs. You'd have to finish, number 1, probably in the West right now because the Warriors are like number 10. So you'd have to somehow get the 1 seed, and that's not out of play. It is not out of play. But, that's how it would have to work in order for you to see the Warriors in the first round. And that is, to me, the most ideal first-round matchup for the Timberwolves. Take number 2 on the day. The Kings, on the other end, would be the hardest matchup in the first round. Now, I'm not saying that like we should hit the panic button. Oh, this is the toughest matchup. Oh, if they match up with the Kings, we in trouble. Oh, I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is between the Mavs, the Kings, the Suns, the Lakers, and the Warriors, the Kings probably offer the toughest challenge. You've played them 3 times. You've lost to them twice at home, might I add. One of those games, obviously, Ant did not finish. De'Aaron Fox did not play. But at the end of the day, they have beaten you twice. And so while one could say, like I just said, that the Wolves have a mental edge over the Warriors because they beat them 3 times, you could say the Kings might have a mental edge a bit, at least in their minds, over the Wolves. They know they can beat the Minnesota Timberwolves, right? You got a guy in Sabonis that is just, he's an awkward matchup for Rudy Gobert. He's an awkward matchup, right? The 3 times those 2 bigs have played each other this season. One game, Sabonis went for 17, 10, and 10. Another game, 21, 15, and 8. Another game, 15, 11, and 5, right? So Sabonis, it's just a weird matchup. It's an interesting matchup. Now, Rudy has shown at times he could slow him down. Let's not get it twisted. It's not like he going out there just dominating Rudy Gobert, right? I still believe if you've been paying attention to 4 Wolves Take, I said in the previous episode that Rudy has the potential to dominate any first-round playoff series, and he still does. He could dominate this one. But this will be the toughest matchup because Sabonis can rebound. He's a scrappy defender. He could push the pace. He could bring the ball up. He could shoot from the outside. He got a nice skill set, right? And when he's able to get everybody involved, they got shooters all over the place. Anytime you got shooters all over the place like the Kings, it makes it tough. It makes it tough. Also, you've seen De'Aaron Fox a couple times this year. De'Aaron Fox, 27, 6, and 4 in one matchup, 36, 12, and 5 in another. He's a lot to deal with. Now, you got a guy in Jaden McDaniels who can make things tough, just like I said about Steph. But De'Aaron poses different threats, right? He's not Steph necessarily off the ball, but on the ball, different conversation. He's coming off those screen and rolls, looking to be aggressive. He's taking the mid-range jump shot. He's shooting the three-point shot, effectively. He's getting to the rack and dunking. I mean, putting you in the rim, right? So De'Aaron has those abilities offensively. Defensively, he's also a really good defender at the guard position. He could jump those passing lanes. He could strip you. Very athletic, very energetic. And another issue that I have with this particular matchup, the last time we've seen these two teams play, this is the game where Anthony Edwards didn't finish. This is the game where De'Aaron Fox did not play. But in that matchup, they outscored the Wolves in transition 19-0. Insane. That's crazy. Let's just be honest. That's crazy. All right. I haven't seen a number like that lopsided with transition points in a while. Right? It's no secret that the Wolves at times have had issues turning the ball over. It's no secret. I think they've done a better job as of late of not doing that as much, but they have moments where they get a little sloppy with the basketball, they turn it over, and this is the last team in the NBA you want to do that against. They're not number one in transition points. I think right now they're like middle of the pack, but we know when we sit down eye test wise and watch the Kings, they like to get out and run, get out in transition, and like I said before, they got guys that can finish at the rack. They got guys that can shoot the three effectively. Now, again, like I said, this is not to say hit the panic button if you play the Sacramento Kings. This is just to say they pose threats that may be the Lakers, the Mavs, the Warriors, and Phoenix simply don't pose, right? And that's okay. That ultimately makes the journey to where you're trying to get even better. The Kings are a very good team. We just saw them get beat down basically by the Mavs. So, you got to put that in there. Obviously, they're a beatable team. I do believe the Wolves will beat them, but I do also believe that they will be the toughest test for the Wolves in a potential first-round matchup. And right now, the Kings are in the 7th seed. In order for the Wolves to play the Kings, either the Kings got to move back up to 6 or the Timberwolves got to move up to 2. So who knows if you see him, but if you do, that's like, okay, toughest matchup you could possibly get in that first round. Take number 3. Kyle Anderson starting to heat up. Now, when I say heat up, I ain't saying he out there dropping 45, 15, and 12. I'm not saying he's out there going for 30, 10, and 5. I'm not saying that. But by Kyle Anderson standards and by what he means to the basketball team, his role, he's starting to heat up. Earlier this season, I was a little concerned about Kyle Anderson, right? Because last season, Kyle Anderson, I thought he played really well. But a lot of it was in the absence of Karl Anthony Towns. Karl Anthony Towns obviously missed a huge chunk of last season. Kyle Anderson came in and played really well. He shot like 41% from the three-point line. Played very effective, very effective. But this season, with Karl Anthony Towns back in the lineup, we saw Kyle Anderson's numbers dip a little bit and minutes played and just overall numbers. He just was not the same player for a vast majority of the season. A lot of us were kind of wondering what's going on with Kyle Anderson, right? Now that Cat is back out of the lineup, we're starting to see him kind of kick it back up to where he was last season. Not shooting the 3 at that clip, but doing what he does best. He's getting his 10 points, his 6 rebounds, and 5 assists. Prime example, last 4 games, 10 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. Again, 10 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. Then there's 12 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists. Then 10 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. In 3 of those games, I just mentioned 4, in 3 of them, he shot over 50%. And of all of those games I just mentioned, he has 1 turnover. So he's getting to the cup. He's really getting to his mid-range. That's what's really doing it. He's getting to the mid-range and shooting that mid-range shot with ease. So the 3-point shot still might be a little off, but he's getting into the mid-range with ease, hitting very good mid-range shots, right? And he's facilitating at a high level, especially from that big position, starting at that potential sometimes 5 or 4 position, bringing the ball up, getting the ball to your best players, helping to run the offense, maybe take some of that load off, Mike Conley or Monte Morris, right? Or even Anthony Edwards, because sometimes he runs the offense as well. He has the ball in his hands. Get the words out. In his hands a lot as well. He's taking that pressure off. and, really facilitating the ball well and not turning the ball over. That is huge. So I love what I've seen out of Kyle Anderson as of late. I really do. He's not overdoing it within his role. He's playing his role the way it should be played, playing really good basketball. And defensively, he's nothing to sneeze at either. You can't bring up Kyle without bringing out the defense. That's a big part of the reason why he's in the lineup as much, right? Because his defense has been special. We just saw his defense on Klay Thompson on that last shot in regulation against the Warriors. That defense really helped seal the game. He was actually in the closing lineup in place of Naz Reid because of his defense on a guy like Klay Thompson. And so I love what I see. I love what I'm seeing from Kyle Anderson, the prime example of a professional's professional, a pro's pro. Hey, I might not have it going early. I might have had a rough start to the season, but when the team needs me, I'm ready to jump back in my role and play it to the best of my abilities. And the best of his abilities, for the most part, I believe, is what we've been seeing. Efficient, high-level basketball. You love it. Last take of the day. This is my fun take. Some of y'all might look at this take like, man, this is a homer take. Again, I'm not from Minnesota. I'm not from Minneapolis. I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So y'all don't look at my takes and be like, this is a homer take. Get out of here. This is what I think. Some of y'all going to love this. Some of y'all going to be like, stop it. Let me get it up here. Let me stop building up the anticipation. Let me get it up on the screen. Naz Reid, fan favorite. Who doesn't love Naz Reid? Who doesn't love Naz? If you don't love Naz Reid, I don't know. There's something wrong with you. That's take 4.5. If you don't like Naz Reid, something is wrong with you. No. Anyway, Naz Reid has top 5 forward potential. We are seeing Naz Reid right now in a more involved role and an expanded role in the absence of Karl Anthony Towns. And Naz has balled out. Naz has absolutely balled out. The man is shooting 43% from the tray. 43% from the tray is insane. Let's just take a moment for that. That's insane, right? But in the few games I mentioned right here, 20 points, 12 rebounds against Golden State, 22 and 12 with 5 assists against Utah, 25 and 5 rebounds against the Lakers, 34 points, 5 rebounds against the Cavs. You are seeing those peaks as of right now of what he can do at the highest level. And he's only 24. Now, when I bring up forwards, I mean, obviously guys are going to think about, and we're not talking centers because I don't care what ESPN says or NBA.com or whoever else says Naz Reid is a center. He is not a center. Might not even be a power forward. In my eyes, he's more like a small forward that can play the power forward position. That's just his skill set, right? But Naz has the ability at 24 to shoot from the outside, obviously, get into the paint, run the pick and roll, pick and pop game perfectly, solid defensively, and the forwards of today. You got Giannis in there, right? You got Anthony Davis in there. You got Porzingis in there. You got LeBron. You got Kevin Durant. Few of the guys I just mentioned on their way out the door. It's a new wave of basketball coming. And Naz is a part of that wave. Given a bigger role within the offense, a bigger role within the team, Naz has potential to get to that level. I'm not saying he gonna do it this year in the playoffs. I'm not saying, even though that would be crazy, but I'm not saying he gonna do it next year. I'm just saying the man is 24. He got a bag. We know he got a bag. And he has nothing but room to grow and improve. I believe over time, too, as teams start to mold their defense around slowing him down, as well as Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns. I think he will be a big part of the focal point going forward, especially in the playoffs. I think he'll learn to be an even better facilitator, too, right? Because he'll catch certain double teams and certain looks. And he's going to have, I believe at times he's going to have a hard time making those adjustments. But I think once he figures that part of his game out as well, and he becomes a big-time facilitator of the basketball as well, that's going to take his game to the next level. So that's what I see. That's how I see it. That's how I feel right now. I believe that this man, Naz Reid, has top 5 power forward or top 5 forward potential. That's just me. That's all I have for y'all today, though. That's all I have for y'all today, man. I've had my fun for the day. I thank you all for tuning in to this week's episode of 4 Wolves Takes. It's been fun. It's been a pleasure. Y'all make sure y'all pack out Target Center tonight for the Pistons game. It should be a dub. But until next time, I will catch y'all on the next time, on the next episode, Catch y'all on the next episode of 4 Wolves Takes.